guys, this is Ozzy coming through here. And I was finally thinking about doing something with this channel I created since the start of YouTube. And I think I want to share my opinion about the gaming industry, the community and its culture. And so I decided to make a series called In My Opinion, which is short for EMO, where I casually talk about things in the past I thought differently than now, which is gonna be, for my next episode, is gonna be about Assassin's Creed and Devil May Cry DMC reboot, or like in general things that make me worry about my whole hobby that I have and we have all together. So, to make this gaming video, as you've probably seen from like dozens of other gaming videos that critique and such, a little different and unique from the rest, I decided to make these videos short and straightforward. Nothing where I just ramble around and rant for like a half hour or 20 minutes or so. And no meme flavored comedy or mocking our gaming aspects of gaming or gaming communities. This video is most likely going to be just a little bit raw and edited, but for the most part I want to make this really straight to the point, making, straight claims and no jokes and bullshit like that, because the mockery culture really is the double-edged sword of the Western culture that is right now decaying before our very eyes. Let's just get into that. Anyways, let's start with my first episode, which is about the open world to-do list genre video games. I played a long time all kinds of games, from the PlayStation 1 era all the way to the current gen in the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. I played lots of shooting games back in the day like Modern Warfare 2, Killzone 3, Uncharted and such, and of course my favorite genre, the hack and slash games, Ninja Gaiden, God of War and Devil May Cry. And nowadays, because I mostly play with my friends in the weekend, I play party games, you name it, free couch co-op, Overcooked, Speedos and such, you name it. For some reason open world games became this genre I never noticed until it became a mainstream standard. From a fun way to navigate and traverse the map and explore it, to an oversimplified mixed gameplay of combat, stealth if you're Ghost of Tsushima or Assassin's Creed or Far Cry, or in lots of cases you have lots of side activities to do, and I mean a lot of them like collectibles or doing like random missions where you talk to a stranger and do something that is not necessarily a combat even. And in theory, why not make such an open world game with mix of all these gameplays, right? Well, here's my personal problem with these open world games. Now before I begin, I want to quickly mention the point of reference I have for these open world games I'm talking about, which are Ghost of Tsushima, the new God of War games, Ubisoft games for the most part, which are the Far Cries, Assassin's Creed since Odyssey at least. I even consider Assassin's Creed 2 to be one of these games, Witcher 3 even, Nier Automata, which has like this very cool hack and slash mechanics that I very much like, and probably many more that maybe I'll mention along the way of the video. And if you play one of these games, then you'll probably know what I'm talking about, or at least have the sense of what I'm gonna talk about. And now, let's begin with my first issue that I have. A minor issue I have is with the pacing of the story along with the side activities. These games usually have a lot of side quests to do and activities with unique gameplay, even like fishing or managing a buffalo like in Yakuza or going to a buffalo like in Witcher 3. Now, while all these side quests wait for the player to be completed, you're presented with plot which can be about like saving someone precious like in Witcher 3, which is Ciri, or saving your own people like in Ghost of Tsushima, or bury your wife's ashes on the top of some mountain like in God of War. And instead of integrating the side quests to the main plot to make sense in any sort of way, these side quests always feel like they're developed completely separate from the main plot. Now some games, but not a lot, do make sense with their side activities and side quests, which is, for example, like Far Cry 3. Now Far Cry 3 is one of my favorite Far Cry games, and I played it like since its release, and I completed it 3 times on my PS3 originally, and on my PC, and another time which I forgot. I think on the PC again. But in Far Cry 3's case, the grind and repetition to hunt animals for upgrades and taking out enemy bases was well integrated with the main character's interest to become a macho man badass like Rambo. Another example for this kind of open world games is GTA games that are meant to be played by just, for lack of a better term, fucking around. But in any other case of these games like Ghost of Tsushima and such, many of them include like dull missions that have uninspired combat arenas despite having very good toolkit and moveset for the player, or just like go from A to B type of missions which are just very boring, and they were very much included in God of War, especially in the 2018 one for me. My second and major issue is having a fun toolkit moveset in an open, empty world. Some of these games actually have pretty amazing moveset, like Nier Automata, which was created by the same developers of Bayonetta. But the problem comes when your open world has a small number of enemies that are scattered around the map, and most enemy encounters are with weak enemies. Now personally for me, I like hack and slash games, so I like the challenge. So this is quite jarring for me to end the fight so quickly with no challenge whatsoever. I honestly think Nier Automata and Ghost of Tsushima could have benefited from a more traditional gaming approach, that is, a level approach like in Devil May Cry. This would have been better instead of an open world game which includes 50% of the time moving around the map, which leads me to the next point. Traversal and navigation are one of the core elements for any open world game. Navigation on how you find yourself and how you go from point A to point B in the best way possible you know, and traversal, which is making movement fun and engaging for the player. In the case of GTA games, you have lots of options to move around. You have cars, jets, boats, and so on. And in the case of GTA 4 and 5, you have in the real world navigation applications like Google Maps and such. So they have an excuse to have their own minimap. But in the case of other games, they don't have such luxury to carve out this kind of minimap to simplify the navigation. Sure, it's a game, you know, and nothing has to be realistic, but that isn't exactly an excuse to try to make an interesting navigation experience, okay? Some of you might suggest that Ghost of Tsushima stands different from the rest, since it has the wind mechanic to guide you. But as someone who played Ghost of Tsushima for many hours, this mechanic doesn't change much. If I want to go from point A to point B, I need to access the menu and select the desired location. And instead of gluing my eyes towards a minimap, I swoop around my eyes to look for the wind's subtle direction. Usually, if you want to build an open world game, you will need to create landmarks for the player to, oh, here I am. That way, the players can both appreciate the world around them and enjoy the navigation experience. The game that is most closest to this is Nier Automata, I think. Back when I played that game, the environment lets you easily figure out where you are. However, while Nier might have the best OK maps to read and navigate, the same cannot be said for its traversal experience. Running around the city or riding animals and robots are not the most unique way to explore the landscape. This is also true for all the other games I mentioned in the start of my video. Some of them try to spice things up with flying vehicles like in Hogwarts Legacy or the gliding mechanic like in Far Cry, but flying ultimately makes the navigation utterly simple and boring, since I can see everything from the sky. And so, this was my experience with these open world to-do list games. Travel around to fight some enemies for the combat, only to get minimally challenged. Select my next quest or activity to do with the minimap. Glue my eyes to the UI navigation gimmick while boringly running or riding or gliding with my next destination. If by chance I'll get a fast travel that is close to my destination, I'll use it to decrease my time from running from point A to point B. go around and now and then picking up collectibles or do some side quests I happen to be nearby, grinding some casually, some enemies only to get stronger for the main quest to be easy as a pie to complete, and rarely but sometimes get a spike jump difficulty for all the wrong reasons, and rinse and repeat. It became this to-do list video game, a checklist, which push a lot of gamers into spending hours upon hours of never-ending boring gameplay that goes nowhere. Nothing really felt it matter while playing any of the side quests or activities or the main plot. Some games like Witcher 3 tried to cough a solution by providing a minor and modified ending according to what side quests you did, but for the most part it's meaningless. So in the end, AAA games today define their so-called quality with the amount of hours it can take away from you from a single day. Which is the reason why I'm making this video in the first place. Because I feel like the gaming culture has shifted away towards the opposite approach of quality over quantity. Instead of making a 6 hours game which has a good replay value, you make a 24 hours game where you do lots of stuff that is not implemented well. And so it became a to-do list, a chore, just to pick up one of these games and start crunching those hours just for some completion percentage. Hence, why today I declare a new genre of video games, the to-do list checklist genre. So next time when you check an open world game, just ask yourself, is it worth it all your time you're investing in it? Or maybe you just need a good game that is some good quality and is not that long for you to be able to enjoy the rest of your day touching grass. So guys, I hope you like this video. Subscribe and like, or unsubscribe and don't like. Because fuck it, this is my opinion. Haha!